Aloha and welcome to Hawaiian IANDS. I'm Sean Lether, your host. If you're watching us on YouTube, please make sure that you comment and subscribe to our Hawaiian IANDS YouTube channel. Also, please like our speaker and share his talk if you feel inclined. In 1992, 2 weeks after she died of lung cancer, Dennis Bullock's late mother appeared to him, accompanied by an angel. She returned from the other side to tell him about his future and gave him a prophecy that would save his life and lay the foundation for his extraordinary spiritual journey. Years later, in 1996, as a result of an accidental drug overdose, Dennis's heart stopped beating and he died for 15 minutes. During his near-death experience, he witnessed multiple versions of himself. In numerous timelines, he received profound revelations about reality and was bestowed extraordinary abilities, including reading people's energies. Please welcome tonight's guest, Dennis Bullock, a multi-talented artist, R&B soul singer, jazz funk saxophonist, gospel singer. Dennis has performed all over the world and worked alongside such legends as Prince, James Brown, Michael Jackson, Kool and the Gang, David Sanborn, Teddy Pendergrass, and Quincy Jones, just to name a few. Dennis uses his gifts from the other side to read other people's energy and help them with the questions and answers they need to know. He also helps people who suffer from depression, health, relationship problems, as well as people who are suicidal. You can learn more about Dennis Bullock and how his energy readings can help you at his website, which we'll stick in the chat, which is www.truthenergyreadings.com. Welcome, Dennis. So glad you are here. Oh, unmute. Gotta unmute. Unmute yourself.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Thank you, Sean. It's a pleasure to be here. Yes.
Yeah, I'm really honored.
I'm honored. Really, yes.
And for those that you may not know, Dennis is staying up all night to join us from Switzerland, which it is 3:10 in the morning in Switzerland. So
That's
Dennis,
correct.
take it away. Why don't you start off with about your experience with your mother coming to you, maybe what was going on with you before, and then when she came to you, and then we'll go from there.
Well, I'll give a little bit of history, what happened. My mother, she quit her job to marry my father, okay? And for 3 years, she saved money. She didn't have a job. She saved money to buy me my first saxophone. My mother was my world to me, okay? And when she died, it was like somebody turned out the lights. And 2 weeks after she died, I started to drink. I would go to the bar. I was living in Montreal, Canada at the time. I would go to the bar, have my drink, and come back to my apartment, sit on the side of my bed, and cry myself to sleep. This was my routine. Now, I did this for about a week and a half, every night, the same thing. I wasn't suicidal, but I didn't really care if I lived or died at that point, because it was like, you know, my mother was very, very close. She was my world. She would, you know, tell me in the morning, did you see the birds outside and the sky? And she was just wonderful. My father was military. My father was in the Marines and also a cop. So he was very dutiful. You know, he would ask you, what do you want for Christmas? And here's something for your birthday. And that was it, you know. But my mother was the joy in life. And when she died, my world crashed. So about a week and a half after, 2 weeks after she died, I started to drink. I was so depressed. And this one particular night, I was doing my routine, went to the bar, coming back to my apartment. And I would come in my room, turn off the light, sit on the side of my bed, and then just cry myself to sleep. That was my routine. But this one particular night, I came back to my room, turned off the light, sat on the side of my bed, and I went to untie my sneaker. And when I looked down on the ground, I saw that there was light. And I said, that's impossible because I know I just turned out the light. Now, here's the crazy part. When I looked up, it was like as if the sun that you see in the sky was in my room. And not only that, it was like a wave of love that just came over me. The only way to describe it is like if you stand in the ocean and you have a wave that comes and it's too big for your body and it just covers your whole body. That's how it felt. But the water was love. And this love just covered me totally. And then out of this sun that was in my room, these two like stars, one was a bigger star and one was a smaller star. And they kind of floated from this sun, which is in my room. And I recognized that the small light was my mom. And the first thing I said to her was, wow, it's like that over there, because there was so much love. It's just so much love. And they both came out to me, floated out towards me. And my mother said to me, I'm going to tell you a week in the future so that you'll know that this is not an illusion or a dream or something fake. Now, she said, you're going to get a job next week. And she said, there's going to be a bouncer at this job that you're going to get, this new job, music job. And this bouncer is going to be a homosexual and they're going to be like a psychopath. And she told me, whatever you do, don't get into an argument with him. Now, she knew me, and, my mother died when I was 29. So she knew that, I call it the roaring 20s. I wasn't looking for trouble or nothing like that, but I could handle it if it came my way. But she told me for sure. She even came to me and she said to me, like, she presented it like it was two timelines. She was kind of communicating like almost like a Star Trek. When she would talk to me, not only could I hear her like you hear me now, the conversation was almost being shot into me. Like I could feel the conversation in my body. Okay. And she said there's two timelines that would happen if you get into an argument with this person. One is that he will kill you. The other is that you will kill him, but you'll go to jail for the rest of your life. And she said, one of these two timelines will happen if you get into an argument with him. And I said, no, mom, I'm not going to get it. I'm going to do exactly like you said. I was just so happy to see her. I was so happy to see her. And I said, sure, I do exactly what you tell me, And she said, the other thing she said was, my girlfriend at the time, she said, she has 3 kids that you don't know about. And she said, she's going to try to have a 4th kid with you. And she warned me about that. So I said, okay, mom, I'm listening to you. And then she told me that she loves me and that she said that she'll always be around me, but I won't be aware of her as much as I am that particular night. And then there was a pause in the conversation. And then I said, but mom, who is this other light that's standing next to you? This light looked like about 7-foot tall light that was standing next to her. And when I asked her about this light, the light spoke to me. It said, I'm an escort. It said, I'm escorting your mother to the earth. And I said, escort? Wow, okay. And I said, well, I got a lot of questions for you. And because I said, I got God in my room, and I got my room is lit up like Star Wars. I said, I want to know some questions. For example, why am I here? Who's going to be my wife? How many kids I'm going to have? All these questions. And this, I would call it like an angel, said, I'm going to answer all your questions. But it said, but you won't be allowed to remember. You'll only be allowed to remember what your mother tells you. So it answered all my questions, but I only remembered what my mother told me. Then after that was said, my mother told me she loves me, and then they floated back to the sun, which I've later found out which was God. They floated back to the sun, and it's like a ice cube in a glass. It started to melt, and the room started to get slowly darker and darker and darker until there was no more light. And when they left, my eyes just burst out with tears, because I said, nobody's going to ever believe this happened. Nobody's ever going to believe me. Nobody's ever going to believe this happened. It's so incredible. Nobody's ever going to believe this. But I have the proof. Now, the next day, I got a phone call from the band. Now, we hadn't worked in about maybe 3 weeks. It was like a little dry spell for my band. And I got a phone call and said, hey, we got a gig. And I said, oh, great. And I didn't dare tell my band what had happened, because I didn't want them to think, oh, his mother died and he lost it. He's a great singer, great saxophone player, but he lost it since his mother died. So I didn't tell them nothing. And I said, oh, great. And then I start to think, wow, it seems like everything is beginning to happen like my mother said. So I went to we called it a sound check. The next day we went to the sound check, which is basically just to make sure all the equipment works before we do the show. We meet like 3 or 4 hours before the show actually starts. So I went to the sound check, and there was this huge bouncer at the door, kind of like Hulk Hogan, big, huge guy. I'm a big guy, but this guy, one of his arms is my whole body. He's like super huge. And but nothing happened. He didn't say nothing to me, and everything was cool. We did the sound check. And then I came back 3 or 4 hours later to do the first set. And we did the first set. Everything went cool. People liked the show. And then on the break, I was talking to the band. This is me and this is the band here. And I was talking to the band, and this bouncer walked behind me, past me, and like grabbed my butt, you know. And I said, hey, and I said to the band, did you see that? This guy just grabbed my butt. And the band said, no, we just saw him pass, because I was standing right in front of in front of him, in front of the band, so they couldn't see. They could just see the guy passing. They couldn't see him grabbing me. And so I said, I got to tell this guy something. And I was really mad. And I was going over there to tell him something. And I said, oh, yeah, slow down. Remember your mom. Don't get into an argument. Stay cool, man. Stay cool. So I went over there. I told him, I said, hey, man, I'm not like that. Please don't touch me no more. And he said, oh, you had too much to drink. I didn't touch you. And I said, yeah, you did. And I'm telling you, I'm not like that. Please don't touch me no more. And then he said, why'd you tell your friends? He was like that. Why'd you tell your friends? And I said, yeah, I told my friends because that's what you did. Now, I'm just telling you, I'm not like that. So please don't touch me anymore. And then I walked away, because I knew that if I stayed there, I knew that the conversation was going exactly to the place where my mom had warned me about. We were getting ready to go into an argument. So I said what I had to say, then I walked away from him. I didn't stay in the conversation. Okay, so then we did the second set, and that went well, but I didn't stick around after like I would normally do. I just left because this guy was I knew what my mom said about this guy, so I didn't want to stay in his area, his vicinity. So I left the club right away, and nothing happened that night. And then the next day, a band member called me and he said, hey, man, did you hear what happened? And I said, no, everything was cool when I left. What happened? He said, remember that bouncer you were talking about that you said he grabbed you? He got into an argument with the owner of the club and crushed both of his rib cages. Club owner died, And this guy went to jail for manslaughter, and he's still in jail to this day. And when he told me that, I said, oh, wow, oh my God, that's so crazy. And I still didn't tell the band what I knew, because I didn't, like I said, I didn't want them to think, oh, about my mother and that I lost it or something. So I said, oh, wow, that's crazy, man. And then I hung up the phone and I said, oh my God, everything my mother's saying is coming true. And then I said, if that's true, then what she says about my girlfriend must be true too. So I got him on the phone. I called my girlfriend. I said, the phone rang. She answered, hello. And I said, hey, hey, tell me something. I said, you can tell me the truth. Do you have 3 kids? And then the phone went silent. And when it went silent, I said, oh, something's weird. And then she said, who told you? And then I said, no, this can't be happening. I said, let me, because I know this girl for almost 2 years. I said, it's impossible. And I asked again, I said, let me ask you again. No. Do you have 3 kids? And she said, yes, I have 3 kids, but who told you? And I said, I'm going to tell you who told me. My dead mother told me. And I said, me and you are finished, because if you're going to deny your own kids, I don't know what else you could be hiding. So we broke up. And that was finished. And that was pretty much the first experience that let me know that my mother was fine. She was much better than she ever was here, and that everything was all right. So I was kind of cured from that. I was well again, and that was the first, what I would call, major spiritual experience. Now, the second major experience happened about 5 years after that. Now, I was following a singer who, they had this renewed group called the Platters. Now, it wasn't the original group, because that's too old. That's too old for me. But it was a renewed group called the Platters, and he was the lead singer, and he was a great singer. He had record contracts in America, in Canada, in Germany. He just had success everywhere. And he was like a mentor to me, because I'm also a singer, and I was learning a lot from him, until one night he offered me drugs. And I started to do drugs with him, which I'm not so proud about, but I thought it was the way to success. So I started to do drugs with this guy, and then after that, he died. I did his last show with him, and then he died. And that for me was like a wake-up call. And I said, I stopped cold turkey, no drugs, no nothing. And because I said, I'm not going to end up like him. I said, this drug thing is not the way to go. And so I replaced this drug with marijuana. So I said, it's okay if I smoke a joint every now and then, that should be fine. So that's what I did. And one day with my new girlfriend, we ran out of marijuana. So now this is not a bad thing against musicians, but most musicians know where to get marijuana. Doesn't matter what country or what state they may be in. Most musicians know where to get marijuana. Now, I ran out of marijuana. We ran out of marijuana that day. And I went to call a friend, and I said, hey, do you have any? And he said, of course, yeah, I got some. And he said, I'll bake it in a cake, and I'll bring it over. And I said, cool, because I never had it in a cake. I was always a smoker, so I never had it in a cake. So I said, cool. So he baked it in a cake. Now, what I found out later on is that he put so much marijuana in this cake. It was crazy. He baked it it was a chocolate cake. He baked it in a cake. He brought it over to my place, left it with me and my girlfriend, and then he left. So I cut a piece for her, and I cut a piece for me. We ate it. 10 minutes went by. and nothing happened. So we said, I don't know, nothing. Do you feel anything? She said, no. I said, I don't feel anything either. So I said, maybe we got to eat more cake. So this time I cut her half the cake and I took the other half of the cake because we wanted to get high. And I ate my piece, she ate her piece. 10 minutes went by, nothing happened. So I said, I don't know, it must be like a bad batch or something. I don't know. You feel anything? And she said, no, I don't feel anything. So I said, yeah, I don't know why, what we ate enough, I'm sure, but I don't know. So then another 10 minutes went by, then we started to feel something. But it wasn't like we were getting high. It was like our bodies began to shut down. Like I was talking with her and then all of a sudden I would forget to breathe. Like, and then it became difficult for me to move, to move. So she said to me, I think you better call 911 while we still can. And I said, yeah, that's right. And it took me all my strength just to get to the phone, pick it up and dial 911. And when I dialed, they said, okay, hello, how can we help you? And this was kind of like the embarrassing part. I said, yeah, I think we took too much marijuana in the cake and I feel like we're dying. Can you please help us? So it was kind of embarrassing to say that. So they said, yes, we'll be right over. And but what I didn't realize was that when you call 911, if you tell them about any kind of narcotic or anything like that, they also call the police. So they came with the police, but we had eaten all the cake, so there was nothing left, no evidence left. So the police had nothing to charge us with. So the police left, and then the ambulance took us in stretchers to the hospital. Now we lived on the third floor, and it was like a staircase going down, and the neighbors had windows and right in front of the staircase. And this incident occurred at 4 o'clock in the morning. So it was the lights were flashing. And they took us down in separate stretchers. Now, when the ambulance arrived at the apartment, I was holding on to dear life. I couldn't even hardly move. My heart was beating because I knew I didn't have a lot of time. I didn't have a lot of time. So I was so happy that they got here. And as we are going down the stairs, the neighbors are looking through the window, like, what's happening right them. And it just looked like a wild scene, like something like Mick Jagger or David Bowie overdosing. It just looked totally wild. And they took us in this flashing ambulance straight to the hospital. Now, here's another funny, crazy thing that happened on the way, because we arrived in the hospital, as we were passing the reception, I was in the stretcher. I noticed I saw again my dead mother. She was going through papers at the reception, looking for me, and she had this like shirt on that she wears in this women's club that she had when she was alive. It was like 10 women. They would go play bingo, they would go on trips together. And whenever they did an event or something like that, they had these shirts on, and she had that shirt on. Now, this was as I was passing her in the stretcher, and she was at the reception. Now, what I learned later was that I was so close to death when I arrived at the hospital. That's why I was able to see her as clearly as I see you all right now. Now, we came into the hospital. They put me in one room and they put my girlfriend in the other room, hospital room. I was in a hospital room by myself, and they gave me this black drink to drink. Now, I thought it was tar, but later I found out that it was charcoal. So I'm in the hospital bed. I'm laying down and I'm saying, thank God, thank God. I think I'm gonna live. I'm gonna live. I'm gonna live. So I drink this charcoal drink and it tastes horrible, like you wouldn't believe. Really, really nasty stuff. But I drank it all the way down, and I sat on the bed, laid back on the bed, and I said, oh, finally I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna be all right. And as I relaxed, I noticed that I could start to hear my heart in my ear. And it started to beat like slower and slower, like boom, 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 boom. And when it went boom, that's when I kind of like jumped up out of my body, just if I was to jump out of this chair like that. I just jumped out of my body. And when that happened, I said, I'm out. And I could see my body in the bed, the leg of my body in the bed, and I was standing next to it. And then I was looking at my hand because I couldn't believe that I was out because it was so easy. It was so, and I was still like me. The only difference was that my hand, I don't know if you ever watched the emergency broadcasting system. It used to come on when they ran out of programs late at night if you're watching TV. And they would have this like gray screen would come on static, and there would be colors in that static if you look hard enough. And that my hand kind of looked like gray with a light blue tint around it. And I was looking at my hand and in amazement. And then I heard a drop of water because I had a sink in my hospital room, and this drop of water was dropping. And I don't know why, but to a soul, a drop of water was the most amazing thing that could ever happen. So I heard this drop of water and I said, oh, a drop of water. And I don't know why, but my curiosity was like at 1,000. So when I saw the drop of water, I said, I'd like to see that water up close. And the second I thought it, my vision went straight to the water, to the sink, and back to where I was. And then I said, I would like to stop that water. So I would like to stop time. And this is the part where it was like, if Sean hasn't ridden a bike in 20 years, and I give Sean a bike, he's still going to be able to ride a bike. He's still going to know how. It was like that for me. It was like I was remembering. So I put my hand across the air and the water froze. I had stopped time. But somehow to a soul that was not a big thing. So then I said, I'd like to see that water from every angle. And when I said that, I opened my hand just like that, just opened my hand, and 5 of me appeared at the sink. One was on the right, one was on the left, one was underneath the water, was one in front of them, and I was watching all of them. And the minute I would close my hand, all 5 of me would suck back to me. Now, I kept doing it. I would open my hand because it was amazing for me to see that, to see 5 of me. So I kept opening my hand, closing it, open it, see how fast it could go. And then I said, I wonder if I open my hand and I put just a little shake, will all 5 of them shake? And I did it, and all 5 of them shaked. And that's when I burst out laughing because it really was turning into Bugs Bunny. I burst out laughing. And when I laughed on the other side, it was like I was laughing in the Grand Canyon. It was like, ha, ha, ha. And it went on forever. But after the laugh, I noticed that I felt that somebody was watching me. And then I heard a voice, and this voice said, like a parent would say to a child in a playground, don't run around the corner too fast or you might fall. This voice said to me, if you don't go back now, you might have to stay. And I said, oh, that's right. Now, I didn't even question who the voice was because I already felt that it was God. It was gentle and it was not demanding, but it was giving me a choice because it knew that my heart can't stay stopped much longer if I want to go back. So, and the other thing I didn't mention was that while I was out of my body, The best way to describe it is like if you have a tablet of Alka-Seltzer and you put it in water, the Alka-Seltzer is going to absorb the water. Well, when I was out of my body, the information I got was getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, that's one thing I want to mention. But anyway, so after God told me that that choice that I had to make, I said, "Oh yeah, that's right," and I pushed myself in the direction of the body. Now, I didn't want to ever look at my face, at the face of my dead body, because I was scared that it was going to have some kind of look on the face, a face of death or something. So I didn't want to look at the body, but I knew I was there and the body was on the bed. So I knew I could see the leg. So I knew that part. So I put myself in the direction of the body and I willed my soul to jump into the body. And when I did, I jumped into the body and my heart did like a double beat, and it started to beat. And then everything was getting back to normal. But with this information, I was able to bring it back this time. I was able to remember it. And this information was quite incredible. And it was about everything, about the earth, about why souls come here, um, uh, that we come here only to experience. We don't come here to learn or necessarily to grow. Um, we're perfect on the other side. That's one thing, but we come to experience. Now, in the experience, you might know something or learn something, but it's not because you have to. It's not because you need to. It's not because your soul will be any less on the other side. Okay. The other thing is that yeah, I learned so many different things that it, it was just total opposite of what I believed before. For example, there's no right or wrong on the other side. There's only perception. Um, I learned about hell too, and that the only reason why people die and may experience that is because they create it. Now, the other thing is I learned also that we're part of God, and also we are gods with a big G. We can have multiple lifetimes at the same time. The lifetime we're having now is like maybe a small part of a soul's fingernail. That's how powerful the soul is. Okay. Yeah, and I learned about this. Why people experience hell is because when they fear it on this side, and because they're gods, they create it on the other side. Now, um, in the Christian religion, they say if you go to hell, you can't get out, right? So why is like hundreds of people dying and saying they experienced hell and they're getting out? It's because they created it. Because first thing, God is only love. Okay. God is the one that will take them out of the hell that they created if they ask. But God won't create a hell and then take you out of it. If God was creating hell, nobody would get out, believe me. But God doesn't create hell, doesn't create punishment. In my downloads or the information I got, there is no karma. There's no debt to pay. The only thing is, it's called frequency. Now, for example, if you kill somebody, then you're on a certain frequency, a killing frequency, which means that you may kill somebody, but you also may be killed. And it's not because you're getting punished or God's going to punish you or nothing like that. It's only because you're on that frequency. It's like a rock station. If you on the rock station, you only get rock music. If you're on the classical station, you only get classical. It's like that. It's about that. The law of attraction is real. On the other side, it even works faster. And yeah, and the other thing is yeah, Christ and the Bible. And the thing about the Bible, I got the information about that, and that is some of it is true, but not all of it. And also about Christ, there's a Christ consciousness that exists on the other side. It is just under unconditional love. that exists. Also that what we say and what we think is like a 24-hour prayer to the universe. It's so much information that I got. So it was overwhelming. And yeah, we can talk about that, I guess, later. But also brought back some gifts that I accidentally learned that I had. I didn't even know I had these gifts until after the incident. And we went to do a gig in Mont Roland, which is north of Canada. And in Mont Roland, there was a snowstorm, and there was only 2 waitresses there. And we didn't have nobody there. So I said, for fun, I'm going to tell the waitress her future. It was supposed to be a joke. So I said, give me your left hand. So she gave me her left hand, and I said, yeah, your boyfriend's paraplegic. He blames you for his handicap. You're going to meet a guy in 3 months, and you're going to fall in love, and you're going to marry him, and you're going to live happily ever after. And I threw her hand back, and then I finished my beer. Now, a year later, I came back to the same club, and the girl ran up to me and said, hey, did you know everything you said was true and came true? I said, no way, because I don't know you. I said, no way. I said, your boyfriend was really paraplegic? She said, yes. I said, he blamed you for his handicap? She said, yes. I said, you met a guy 3 months after I told you? She said, yes. You fell in love and got married. And then she showed me the wedding ring. She didn't even say yes. She just showed me her finger. And I said, I got the chills coming up my arm. And I said, oh my God, what am I turning into, an alien here? And the band looked at me and said, hey, what are you doing, man? You're turning into Nostradamus. And that was the first time I realized that I could begin to read people's energy. Now, I had another situation that happened that was, well, not so pleasant, because I didn't know how this gift works. And I got a premonition that this particular person is another guy, a doorman, who was cool people. He was cool with the band, cool with me. Everybody was cool. He was cool. And that he shouldn't go out this particular weekend. I got the impression on Thursday. Now, this guy is another, most bouncers and doormen are huge, and he was another one that was huge. And I had the impression it stayed with me like a dark cloud over my head for the whole day, that this guy should stay in his apartment the whole day, whole weekend, and don't go out. Now, I saw him on Thursday, and I started to tell him, but then I said, nah, he's going to think I'm crazy. And anyway, you have to be crazy to mess with this guy. This guy's huge. So I said, if I tell him, he's going to think I'm crazy. So I didn't tell him. Now, he worked at these places what we call after hours, which is like little places that stays open after the clubs close. You can still have a drink and talk with your audience, and everybody comes to the after hours, or the after party, they call it. Anyway, Sunday came, and we just finished our show, and we're going to the same after hours, and he wasn't there. There was a new bouncer there, and this new bouncer was at the door with tears rolling down his face. And I said, hey man, what's wrong? And he said, you didn't hear? I said, no, what happened? He said, the bouncer is dead. And I said, how? He said, Saturday night, he met a girl, and after work, he took this girl to a hotel, and she waited till he fell asleep, and she took a knife and started to chop his throat. And by the time he realized what she was doing, he had lost too much blood, and he lost consciousness, and he died. They caught her, thank God, the police, and I went to his funeral, and I promised, I felt so bad and so guilty. I promised myself that even if I get a premonition for the president of the United States, I'm going to tell him. I don't care how crazy it may be, I'm going to tell him. But I got later on from inside of me that even if I had told him, he wouldn't have listened, and that I shouldn't feel bad about it. And we all have these exit points. That was another download. We all have exit points. So it's a lot of information that I got. So I can't say it. I can't go into all right now unless you ask me a question about it, because it's just so much information. But basically, that's when I found out I had a gift to read energy and to um, see people's energy and tell them about things that could help them in their life. And I started to do readings once a month for people, and now it's gotten pretty popular. But that was my NDE story. And before that, like I said, I was just a musician. I was not looking to be spiritual at all. But since these events happen, I know things now that can help people in their everyday life. And I also got information about what's happening in our earth and world today, which we can talk about later. But those are my two spiritual experiences.
Thank you so much, Dennis. So the first question I have to ask, you ate the whole cake.
Yes.
So
Sadly,
it was
sadly.
pretty good.
Sadly, yes. Sadly, yes, because he must have threw the kitchen sink in that thing. And of course I had never eaten it in a cake before, so I only smoked, so I didn't know that, I didn't know how much I should take. So I just I figured that, well, I don't feel anything yet, so I think he maybe didn't put enough. So yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because my mom loves chocolate cake, and I think
Oh.
she's been known to eat a whole chocolate lace cake as well.
Yeah.
She didn't end up in the ICU, luckily.
Okay.
But yeah, that was funny. So first of all, for everyone who might know, I have a relationship with my mother who crossed over before my NDE, and that's one of the coolest things that I love about my friendship with Dennis is that we have that in common, and that is just not
Yeah.
something that a whole lot of people have in common, where you can talk about your dead mother and all the
Right.
help she has
Right.
given.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's amazing when they come back to talk with you or to show you something, that's just telling you that your dead loved ones, they're always around you and they don't forget you.
Right. And they're always here to help us,
Yes, exactly.
like your
Exactly.
mom helped you.
Exactly. Exactly. She saved my life. If she hadn't, for sure, I probably would have done one of the timelines for sure.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's so do you communicate with her as much now, or is she less now that
Well,
she did that? Or
I just feel her around, like I can feel her presence. But I talk to her every now and then, like we talk, because I know the thing is, I know she reads my thoughts anyway, so she can hear my thoughts anyway, but I just talk with her sometimes,
so
you know.
she's always there.
Yes.
And if you need her,
Yeah, if
she'll
I
be
need
there
her,
even
yes.
more.
Yes, exactly. But I can feel her presence sometimes when she's around. I just feel this like lightness around me, and I know it's her. And stuff like that. Yeah.
Does she ever do motherly things like when she was alive? Like, meaning, like, sometimes my mom will do the same kind of, like, I'll be doing the same kind of stuff that I did when she was alive, and
Uh-huh.
she'll be kind of jokingly pointing it out. Like, do you feel her being a mother from the other side? Not just big things like warning you
Well,
about like what you felt,
well,
but little
I
things.
I think she's always being a mother
Yeah.
on the other side. Um she's, my mom was like I said, I mean, for me, she came back from the dead. She couldn't even get back here. She needed an escort to show her how to get here, but she came here. and that, that's my mom. She was great, man. She was the best thing in my life and still is. Um, but yeah, but she told me, this is the thing. She told me when she was in my room directly and I could see her, she told me that I wouldn't be as aware of her as much as I am that particular night. But she said, I'll always be around. And then she left with the angel.
Oh, why did she need an escort? Why did the angel need to come? Do you know?
Well, yeah, because the first thing is what people don't get is that everybody, when you cross over on the other side, you have an adjustment period. And everybody doesn't adjust like that. It just because you die doesn't mean automatically you know how everything works. Okay, so you need adjustment, and it's different for every person. Some people adjust faster, some people adjust slower. So like that's why when a person, let's say a person's a Muslim, they may die and they may say Allah, or a person's Buddhist and they may die and see a Buddha, or a Christian, they may die and see Jesus. It's to make you comfortable, and it's to get you used to, and it gradually, slowly starts to get you into more and more of who you really are, which is a God and a part of God.
Yeah, so since you just brought that up, why don't you talk just a little bit more about that, about how are we all part of God and how are we all gods?
Okay, okay, we are part of God, like a drop from the ocean, a part of it, but also we are gods with a big G. We can create a whole universe with just a thought. So when people are on the other side, they're doing things. They've got whole cities that they've created from memory. They whatever you think, it happens because you're a god. You can have 5 lifetimes at the same time. Okay, you have total control over time, everything. You have free will. There is not like, oh, you have to do this or you have to that. No. The only thing is on the other side is that no soul can harm another soul.
Hmm.
Not no soul, no spirit can harm another spirit. The only way you can harm another soul is if the soul itself gives you permission to do so. And even then you can't really harm it, but you can maybe control it through fear or something like that. But you have to give permission. You can't, a soul just can't come up and start controlling another soul. Impossible. You are a god. And I mean a god that can create. You can create a physical body if you want on the other side. You can create a whole universe if you want on the other side. You can create a galaxy. You can create a beach and an ocean if you want. That's a god. And also you are part of God. So you're like God's lineage. So that's why you have those powers.
Yeah.
And even in the Bible, Christ tried to tell you that. He said, I do these works, but guess what? You'll do greater. And a lot of people get it confused and they think, oh, Christ is here and I'm here. Well, what I got from the other side is that there is no hierarchy on the other side. That means Christ is not better than you. Virgin Mary is not better than you. Gabriel is not better than you. God is looking at everybody the same.
That's
Okay.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So how about these timelines? So you saw yourself on multiple timelines. Is there a timeline where you actually did confront that guy? Is there a timeline where you might have confronted him and been killed? And
First
is there
thing,
another timeline where you confronted him and you killed him and you went to jail?
well, first thing, all timelines exist, but we won't experience them unless we choose those timelines. That's what my mother was trying to get me. If I took a certain action, that would mean I was choosing this particular timeline.
Okay.
Okay. So all timelines exist. They're all out there. Where we're the good. And here's the other thing. Like I said, there is no right or wrong. And now this is a hard pill for a lot of people to digest. And oh, the other thing, I got to tell you that because there's so many downloads. It's like a big list. First thing, this Earth life we're living now, it's a game. It was created for souls to come here to experience. That is it. And the Earth did like a agreement for a few billion years to allow souls to come here to experience. But that agreement is up. It's been up since 2012. And now she wants to go to a higher vibration. She doesn't want duality because right now, because what we're living on the earth is duality. That's why life is always good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. But right now, the frequency of the whole earth has changed. So now it's going more like that, less and less bad and more good, even though people are still trying to do bad things, but they're doing it on an earth that's on a higher frequency. Now, there's only two frequencies, only two vibrations, low or high. And for people who don't know, low vibration is hate, fear, judgment, anger, depression, confusion, tension. This is all low vibration. Now, what does low vibration do? Low vibration makes things work difficult if they work at all. Low vibration blocks any kind of dreams you have about life from happening. And low vibration is bad for your health. Now, there's also high vibrations. What is high vibrations? High vibrations is laughing, smiles, love, gratitude, nature, animals, babies, creating, okay, joy. This is all high vibrations. Now, what does high vibrations do? High vibrations make things work easier. High vibrations bring your dreams, your dreams about life, your personal dream of life to happen faster. High vibrations brings more money and more success. And high vibrations, the doctor will tell you, if you laugh more, high vibrations is great for your health. And that's where we are now. Life is no more about logic. If I do this and I do that, that's going to happen. It's not going to happen now the way you think because the whole planet's vibration has changed. Okay. The Schumann resonance, which is the electrical pulse around the earth, is normally at 7.83, which is the exact same frequency of the human brain. And right now, if you Google it, you're going to see it spiking up to 300 and plus. And what that's doing is also changing our DNA. But these are all good things because the earth wants to prepare us for this next dimension, this fifth dimension. And the downloads I got about that is that the fifth dimension, it will be no more duality. It will only be love, only be peace. There'll be no killing of animals, plants, or people. We'll have about maybe 30–40% of our soul power in the physical on the earth. We'll be able to create with our thoughts. We can create our McDonald's cheeseburger if we want to, but no animal will be killed because of it. We will just create it from our mind. We'll be able to communicate with animals, plants, rocks, okay, water. We'll have telepathy, and there will only be peace on earth. Now, the thing is that once the earth reaches this 5D frequency, whatever frequency you're on at that moment, that will be the frequency you'll be stuck on until you leave the earth. So the earth really is asking the souls, do you want, what vibration do you want to be on? If you want to be on the low vibration, that's okay too, but the earth is going to split into two timelines. It's going to go to 3D timeline and it's going to go to a 5D timeline, but the 5D timeline will be the real earth. Think of it like if you stand in front of a wall, you'll have the shadow of you, and then you have the real you. Well, the 5D earth will be the real earth, and the 3D will be like the shadow earth. Okay, and all the earth is asking is for people to take a choice of which vibration you want. Now, God's point of view about the whole thing is that if, let's say, if Sean chooses 3D vibration, God's view is, oh, Sean took the long way home, but he's coming home. If Sean chooses the 5D version, oh, Sean took the short road home, but he's coming home. That's it. There is no judgment. No judgment on the other side. Okay.
I'm pretty good at taking the long path. I, I take the
Well,
hard long.
hey,
I that.
Sean, it doesn't matter to God.
Right, I'm good with it. It's fine.
Because your love, I don't put anybody down. I call it the roller coaster. I don't put anybody down who chooses the roller coaster. It doesn't matter. We all are here for experience,
Yeah.
but the choice is coming because the earth has finished her agreement. And now she's rising to vibration. And that's why you might hear about star seeds. And these are people where the earth called out. I'll give you this example. For example, if you are moving to another apartment, now if you do everything yourself, take all your furniture and everything yourself, it's going to take you a lot longer to move that apartment than if you were to call friends to help you. And that's what the earth did, made a cry out to the universe for souls to come to be born to help her raise her vibration faster. And that's what you get star seeds. And star seeds are people that are very, very sensitive. They only want to do good things. But they have a hard time in this world because they're very sensitive, because they're only about love. They don't do well in crowds because they feel energies and all kinds of stuff. But they're there to help the earth rise in vibration and also get people to be in a higher vibration also. So
Yeah. I learned about that in 2012 when I realized, that's
yeah.
that seems to be my path. Okay, so here's a big question though about vibration that I think is so important. And the last thing that you and I did together in February, there was some people talking about this. And what I want to make sure is that people don't misunderstand what you're saying.
Okay.
That so many of us have to be brought to our knees before we'll have a spiritual awakening or acknowledgement.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are many people that have downloads or messages or whatever you want to call it, and it's not necessarily through vibration, it's through pain and suffering. So how do you equate what you're saying about high vibration to those people that are having their spiritual awakenings, their metaphysical experiences through pain and suffering, which is
Well,
not
the
necessarily high
thing
vibration?
is, yeah, but the thing is that if you're going through pain and suffering, okay, that's still a low vibration. Okay. But the thing is that you always have a choice. If it's low or if it's high, if you're always going to have the choice. That's the whole point. But what I'm saying to you is that low vibration, if you continue on low vibration, it continues to give you more of that, which means it's not the most pleasant thing to be on low vibrations. Okay. But you always have the choice. You can have a spiritual awakening through high vibrations also. You can have a spiritual awakening through low vibrations. But the spiritual awakening is still your choice. It's you saying, okay, I'm tired of all this. This has brought me to my knees and made me stop now. And now I've stopped. Because most people, even if they're experiencing some excruciating situation, usually what happens is they stop because it's so excruciating that they stop. And when they stop, that's when they begin to notice their inner self. And that's what I'm talking about. That's when they've given up and they begin to allow. And that's when their
Right.
spiritual experience will happen. And that's why even in my sessions, I'm talking about allowing. You have to allow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have free will, but my guideline is it's not about, Sean, it's not about being perfect. I want to make that clear. It's your emotions or your thermometer to tell you if you're going on high vibrations or low vibrations. Now, It's not about, oh, I have to be perfect. I have to always be on high vibrations. No, it's about be like a 3-year-old child. Now, 3-year-old child is going to run down the street really fast and fall. And then you're going to scream. You're going to feel that low vibration emotion. But
Right.
a minute later, that same 3-year-old little child is going to be laughing because he felt that low vibration emotion, but then he let it go.
And then let
But
go. That's the whole
yes,
key,
and
letting
that's
go.
where exactly, and
Yes.
that's where adults go wrong a lot because they hold on to it for days, weeks, even years.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that's the whole point. It's not about being perfect. It's about
Yeah.
knowing what to do when you find yourself on low vibrations. I even tell people, hey, you make a list. I have a list of 10 things.
Yeah.
My number 2 on my list, 10 things that automatically make you happy. Number 2 on my list is the cartoon Bugs Bunny because it reminds me of the other side and it makes me laugh and I'm back on high vibrations.
Yes.
Anybody can wake up in the morning and feel fear about whatever or anxiety about whatever.
Right.
But the point is, what I'm making is that you should know what to do about it, that you don't stay on that low
Staying in
vibration.
it. Yes, that's the whole
Feel it.
key.
I'd say feel it. If you have to feel low vibrations, feel it. That's okay.
Yeah.
But then let it go. That's the point.
Right. Awesome. Yeah, because I think that's really important because I don't know if you remember, but yeah, the thing we did in February.
Mhm,
And many people, like most people, a lot of people here know that I encountered Saint Teresa of Avila during my
mhm.
NDE. I'm not Catholic. I didn't know anything about her,
Right,
but
right.
it was a lot of suffering and being in a coma and everything that brought her to where she was. And
Mhm.
I myself, it was suffering getting to a low level, but of course I don't stay there. But yeah, just a lot of people get confused. And that's what I don't want people to think is that
Mhm.
like they're not doing it right. When people they're like, I'm raising my vibrations as much as I
No,
can,
no,
and
because
I'm still having all this
right.
suffering.
Yeah, but the thing is, Sean, it's like it's not. I'm not telling people, hey, put all your negative emotions to the side and try and be just trying to be happy because what's going to happen is you're going to explode. Somebody going to say, hey, Sean, how you doing? You're going to explode.
Yeah.
They don't even know why you're mad. What I'm trying to tell you is that you have all these emotions for a reason. So you can feel those emotions, but the low vibration emotions, you feel them and then you let them go. Because if you hold
Yes.
on to them, the universe is 3 things. It's God, it's a magnifying glass, and it's also a candy store.
Right.
Okay. Okay. And it's going to magnify it. If you're on high vibration, it's going to magnify that. But if you're on low vibration, it's going to magnify that. So that's why you don't want to stay there. You can feel it, but then you let it go. And the children are the perfect example of that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's so important to realize that the only time we are truly connected with God is when we are in a higher vibration, when we're in love and joy.
And there
But
you go.
sometimes it's that bringing us to our knees that is required to crack us open to then
Yes, to get
bring
us to
us to
allow,
that
to get
higher
us to
state.
allow, to get us to stop, to
Yeah.
get us
Yeah.
to stop and to start to allow. Because that's when we stop, we say, oh, this is too much. I got to stop. I just give up. I'm allowing. And
Right.
that's when the most powerful things happen.
Yes. Yes. That allowing and surrendering. Okay, so
Yes.
people, please keep putting me your messages in the chat for Dennis. I'm trying to go through them as much as I can. And so Dennis, you were told that you needed to go back to your body if you wanted to return to this life, correct?
Yes, yes, I had a choice. If I didn't go back now, then I might have to stay. Yes. Yes, but I was
And,
not forced. I was not forced. I was given a
right, you
choice.
had a choice. You could be done
Yes.
with it here. If you
Right.
didn't, yeah,
If
yeah.
I didn't want to, yeah, I could have stayed.
So, when you were talking about the different timelines and everything,
Hmm.
and in your experience, you had the choice. You or at least are aware of, you chose different timelines. Some people have awareness of choosing multiple timelines. But for you, you chose, this is the timeline. I'm not engaging with the guy. I'm not
Right, right.
correct. You
Well,
don't have
here's
any knowledge of the other.
well, here's the thing. Here's the thing that I got in my downloads is that first thing, timelines is not a big thing. We change timelines every 3 minutes, whether we know it or not. There's a timeline that exists right now that you, Sean, went to the store instead of having this interview. Now that exists out in the space somewhere, out in the heavens, in the space somewhere. That exists. Because timelines are just possibilities. Okay. And so we change timelines all the time. You might notice it one time where if you put your keys on a certain table and you put it there, and then you come back a couple hours later and the keys are not there. And then you come back and you're looking all over the house for the keys, and then you give up, and then you come back and then the keys are there. That's because you change timelines. You know, some people can realize it, some people don't, but we do it all the time, and we create our reality. I want to get that straight too, by the vibrations we choose every day. We create that. Nobody else is creating our reality. We are doing that. There's no outside forces. The only thing, how we create it, is what vibration you choose. If you're choosing low vibrations, you're going to get more low vibration stuff. Okay. If you're choosing high vibrations, you're going to get more high vibration stuff. And a lot of us we've been programmed to be addicted to drama, to be addicted to gossip and bad things and all these other stuff. That's why the news is always bad. Why? It keeps you on low vibrations. You're easier to control when you're on low vibrations. Okay. So when you're on high vibrations, that's freedom, that's love, that's joy. That's free will.
Right.
So that's why, and that was a hard pill for me too. I was like, man, I really do make my reality. But yes, it's true. Yes. By the vibrations you choose, the low or high vibrations you choose, that creates your reality, everybody's reality.
And we should mention here that we're going to be doing a workshop maybe in September with
Yes.
Dennis, and it'll be all about what he is talking about and how we can work on our energy and our vibration and keep our vibration, and how we can read energy. So make sure you're all signed up for the newsletter so you'll know, because hopefully we'll do that.
And also about healing.
Yes, and healing. And of course, I put the link also. If you can't wait for a workshop, you can certainly contact Dennis right now and get an energy reading from him, which I have stuck in the newsletter. And Nina, I will be at the conference. The workshop will be online in September. Dennis won't be at the conference because he's in Seattle and he has a very busy life singing and saxophone, but it would be awesome if he was at the conference. But so we'll be doing it in September after the conference. So just, if you guys sign up for the newsletter, you will know it will be online, and we will do it. It'll be online. So September, end of September, we'll have it listed at the beginning of September, so you have plenty of time.
Exactly.
Just mark your calendars. So just for everybody who wants to know the future of the world, it's coming. We're gonna get there. We're gonna
definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. So, but I wanna go through this, the other questions first. And so you talked about the multiple timelines and multiple exit points. So talk more about that. What does that mean, multiple exit points? Does that mean that we do not have to die at one time, that we have different opportunities, or what?
Well, exit points are just times that we can, if we choose to leave. For example, if you're supposed, let's say you're going to work, and all of a sudden you're late for work, And because you were late for work when you were driving, you missed an accident that would have happened to you. But you were late because you went to get that extra coffee at the shop and they took long to give it to you and you missed the accident. Or you were going to catch a plane and all of a sudden you decided to change the reservation and that plane you were supposed to catch crashed. Those are exit points. Now, exit points are there for if the soul gets tired of playing the game. And you have an opportunity. We have like 3, sometimes people have even more exit points, could be 5, could be 7, could be 3. These are all possibilities or doorways that we can leave this world if we want to. Now that's a download I got, that's what exit points are. We all have them, just that we don't always realize. You know, sometimes when you're late for that meeting, or sometimes when you arrive at that meeting early, you might have missed an exit point where if you are on time, you might have been in an accident, or because you're late, you missed an accident. So, you know, we all have these exit points that the soul can go if it wants to. And at this time, the earth is in transition. So there's a lot of souls leaving. If you notice, so many stars and athletes and musicians and everybody is passing away like never before, like in such great numbers you can't imagine. And that's because a lot of them don't want to be in the transition. They feel like, if I'm at 5D and I'm only at 40%, I might as well be at 100%. I came here to experience the 3D, and I don't want to wait till time splits and then I go back to 3D and all that. So they just leave. And that's what's happening. We have a massive exodus also of souls that are leaving at this particular point in time. So we're in transition right now. The earth is rising in vibration, scientifically and also spiritually. And what that means is that more truth and more clarity is coming to the people, to the general public. But they still have free will. They can still choose not to look at it, or they can choose to see it or feel it. But it'll be a lot easier. Law of attraction is going to be becoming more stronger because we're going on a higher vibration. And what that means is that people who are doing bad things, they're not going to have the same outcome as they would maybe 10 or 15 years ago when the planet was more balanced in duality. It's not balanced in duality. It's going higher and higher until it gets to the point where it flips and the timelines split. So
Okay, so when you're saying that you know that we can break off, how does suicide fit in there?
well, first thing you got to understand, most people that suicide, they're what happens is we plan our life, right? We plan our mother, our friend, our best friend, or even our dog or cat. It's all planned before. Now, sometimes because when you're on the other side, everything is great. You have all the powers, you got everything is great. So you really feel that you can do anything. You are super strong. You're Superman, Superwoman. Okay. And you say, well, I want to play this game y'all call Earth. But I want this to happen and I want that to happen. Now your guides and your angels may tell you, hey, that might be too much for you. Maybe you should take some of the things off because in life you have 2 things happening: destiny and free will. Now a client asked me once, hey, what is more true, destiny or free will? And the answer is both. You have certain things in your life that you planned before you came here that will happen because you planned it to happen. But you still have free will. I mean, you can turn away your parent. You can divorce your wife. You can not accept your kids. You still have free will. So the thing is that when you come here, you're the one that chooses the events. You know, so it's up to you how you want to deal with that.
So suicide is a valid exit point.
Well, suicide is usually because somebody has put too much in their life plan and it became too much for them. And they exit. But when you're suicide on the other side, it's
You're not
usually
punished for it.
no, never. There's no punishment on the other side at all. Never. The only
Right.
thing is about that is that you may regret it and say, "Oh, wow, I could have done. Maybe I would have liked to have stayed. You know, I shouldn't have done that. I could have. I see now that I could have made a different choice. But that's about it. There's nobody judging you on the other side, and you get
And you're not
probably
going to hell because we've already established there is no hell.
there is no hell. The only hell there is that you created, not God. You
Right.
created, but and even that, once you realize that you created, two things either happen. Either you realize, oh, I'm creating this, and you leave, or if you don't realize it, then you say, oh God, please take me out of this, and God takes you out, and then you see that it wasn't God, it was you. So there's no hell about that. So if you suicide, I mean, that's just the life cut short, and you see where all the connections, because we're all connected. You see, you disconnected with all the things that you would have done for people, all the things you would have helped people with, all the things you're not there anymore. So they lose.
So what's your advice to all the people who are having awakened experiences and also struggling with the harsh realities of this is a tough school that we've come to,
Okay.
and it's a challenge? What would you say to all those people?
Well, first thing I would say is that we're in transition. Okay, so there's a lot to deal with. Okay, there's the changing of the energies, solar storms. We can go on and on and on, but the balance inside is basically about vibration. It's about trying to keep as much as you can a higher vibration. Or if you find yourself on low vibrations because of situation, place, or thing, knowing what to do if you find yourself on low vibration, so you
And
don't
that's what
stay.
we'll work on in our workshop, or you can
Yes,
go to Dennis right away if you don't want to wait. But that's what
exactly.
we'll work on, is how to raise our vibrations in this world.
Exactly. And there's about, I usually give people or clients a list of 10 things. Now, the first on the list would be nature. I mean, if you live near a lake, a beach, a park, a tree, if you sit under the tree for 1 hour, this raises your vibration automatically. You don't have to do anything. And the other 9 things on your list will be personal to you. It could be your favorite ice cream, could be your best friend that makes you laugh, could be a funny movie, could be music, could be writing, could be creating, which is high vibration, could be a good book, could be a photo, could be a cartoon. You know, I have the same list that I tell people about, and my number 2 is Bugs Bunny. So
Right.
so you know, the thing is just knowing what's going on, and you also want to stay away from low vibration conversation. Now, what is low vibration conversation? That's somebody saying, hey, Sean, remember 3 years ago that bad, horrible thing that happened? It could happen again. It could happen today. It could be the
Or when
sun
you're
could
just
explode.
gossiping about so and
Yeah,
so.
or did you hear about so and so? He fell off the roof and then he broke his thing and all this and all, you know, that's low vibration conversation. That's bringing you nothing. And even if you have things that happen in the past that's low vibration, doesn't mean you have to go back to it just because it's true. You know, you want to stay, you want to protect your vibrational environment. And that's the best key to helping you deal with the ever-changing earth that we're living in now. Good news is that the earth is rising in vibration. It is not getting worse, it is getting better. Okay. But the thing is that the people who stay on low vibration, they are having a harder time, because if you put a positive battery and a negative battery together, what happens? They separate. So imagine somebody on the low vibration who stays on a low vibration, but they're on an earth that's rising in vibration. What's going to
Yeah.
happen to the person on low vibration? Going to have a harder time. Okay. So, and you know what high vibrations is. So, and even if you, here's another thing you might want to do, even if you're not into heavy meditation, 5 minutes a day in the beginning of your day, that you start your day, how wonderful it's going to be, will be a good practice for you to deal with vibrations on a more positive level, because meditation is always taking you to the state inside. It always connecting you with the other side. Okay. So you want to do that at least 5 minutes. I do that every day, 5 minutes of meditation, quieting your mind, thinking of nothing but love and light. And that's it. Or how wonderful this day is going to be.
Okay, so we're gonna let you close out. Everybody wants to know how we're moving from a 3D to a 5D.
First thing, it's not going to be like you wake up one morning and millions of people have disappeared. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be gradual. It's happening now. It's gradually getting to that frequency. Okay. And the other thing is, here's the other thing which I get asked a lot, what if I get to 5D and my partner can't get to 5D because they're on 3D? Is my family separated? The answer to that is no, because you in 5D, all you have to do is think of them and you will get the higher version of them in 5D. But you have to think about them. That's the only thing, because you're going to have, in 5D, we're going to have powers you can't even imagine. Okay, you can't even imagine. You'll be able to talk to plants. They'll be able to talk back to you. You'll be able to hear them. You'll be able to understand them. So, I mean, that's a whole 5D is going to be a whole nother dimension, which it is.
Yeah, that I think you've covered it all. And so yeah, everybody who wants to check out Dennis and go to his website, and you can get energy reading from him. He's, as you can tell, amazing. Or you can wait until September and we'll do a workshop that everybody can participate, how to learn more from Dennis. What, Dennis, would you like to, I'm going to let you give the final message that you would like everybody to know from your experiences.
Well, one thing I
What
want, go ahead, I'm sorry.
what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say that one thing I'd like to mention is that I also do healing sessions, which I discovered I could do. So I'm also doing healing sessions. People who have back pains, a lot of different ailments. People have been getting healed. So I also do that. And the other thing I would like to leave the people with is that please understand everything is vibration. It's not about looking at life in the logical way. Because if you look at life in the logical way, you're going to run into the street called insanity. Why? Because the whole planet is on a different vibration, different frequency than it's ever been. So a lot of people's lives is turned upside down because they're trying to do the same old things on a new frequency, and it's not working out the way normally they would. That's the first thing. Second thing, I want people to look at life more as vibrational. Is it low vibrations? Is it high vibrations? Is the situation low vibrations? And if I have to deal with a low vibration person, how should I be with that? What should my take be on that? And the thing is, you have to understand your vibration is everything, and it doesn't matter what other people think about you. If you staying on a high vibration, it's that radio station. If you tune that radio station to classical music, now you're not going to change the station unless you see somebody else on the rock station and you start focusing on that person because they're doing bad things or saying bad things, then you're changing your frequency just from focusing on them. And I'm trying to tell you, do not focus on low vibrational things. The other thing is you can also pray. Prayers are very powerful. I found that out. You can pray about a boss if you have a boss that's just not nice, or you have to deal with a family member all the time that's just not nice. You can say a prayer, 5-minute prayer, 2-minute prayer for them about love, and you can watch them change. Okay? Because the thing is, a soul can't control another soul, but what prayer does is bring the opportunity to that soul to choose. And if you pray for that person every day, 2 minutes, you keep bringing the opportunity that person to love. And guess what? Sooner or later, they're going to choose it because the opportunity is always there for them. And that's what prayer is about. So I just wanted to leave that. We are in transition. You may feel dizzy sometimes. You may feel sick. And then it goes away because the planet is rising in a vibration. Your body has to catch up to calibrate to the new vibration of the earth, okay? And it's always changing. It's changing every 3 days, every 7 days, okay? So sometimes your body catches up and it's no problem. And other times, all of a sudden you get headaches when you normally don't get any headaches at all. This is the vibrational change. I just wanted to let people know. And basically, that's it. Love is the true power to this game called Earth. Please don't forget it. And that's it. And God loves you always, no matter what you do.
And you just said something that actually answered somebody else's question. So somebody wants to know, so if Trump wins, will that not bring the whole world to a much lower vibration? So, but your answer was that is an opportunity for love. So for every one of us, if Trump wins and you find yourself wigging out, that is an opportunity for you to love.
There
love
you
Trump,
go. You got it.
love Trump supporters, love your neighbor. It is an
There you go.
opportunity for you to
That's
practice
right.
love.
That's right. That's right. Sean, you got it right on the nail, man.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, so for
Exactly.
our last thing though, because you talked about prayer, and this is something everybody can go do now when they go eat dinner or a snack.
Oh, yes.
Explain the power of prayer and what
Okay.
you know based on the studies.
Okay, first thing, we all know that the food they're selling in the supermarkets are not basically good for you, not a lot of it. Okay, there's been a study to show you how powerful your words are because you're a god. In Japan, where they had 2 bowls of rice, 1 bowl of rice every day, he said, I hate you, you're horrible, you're bad for my health, I can't stand you. Another bowl of rice, jar of rice, he said, I love you, you're great for my health, I adore you. He said that every day for 1 month. At the end of the month, the jar of rice he said, I hate you, turned totally black. The jar of rice that he said, I love you, stayed fresh, edible, and was totally white and totally beautiful. And this is to show you, you can Google this. This is to show you the power of your words and also of prayer. So when you have food, if the animal's been treated bad or whatever it is, you want to say to the food first, I thank you, I love you, and you are healthy for me. I thank you. And that's it. When you say that, you are changing the matter in that food. And that food will go down better. They even did it with water too. You mark a jar or a bottle of water with love on it, it's going to change the properties of the water. Okay, so this is a way also to to be more healthy in your food. Okay, that's what I wanted to say. Yeah.
So if we can do that with our food, we can do that with our president and our leaders as well.
Yes, of course. Yes, we
Because I'm
can.
getting more and more messages about Trump, so that's why.
Yes. Yes, we can for sure, Sean. Yes.
So yes, everybody who has messaged me about Trump,
Yeah.
you have the ability. I
Yeah,
mean,
we'll all do a group prayer for him. How about that?
yes, yes, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Dennis, I have to thank you so much, and I'm so glad we got to do this again. And I'm excited for September when we do a workshop with everybody. I hope you will all join us. If you just make sure that you're signed up for the newsletter, then you'll know the details when we do it. And
Yes.
as y'all can tell, Dennis is an amazing guy.
Well,
And
Sean,
just
you're amazing for having these meetings and your show. This is amazing. It's an honor and a pleasure for me to be on your show and to share my story and experiences and to help the people as much as I can, and with our experiences, yours too. And I'm really totally grateful to know you and to be invited on your show. Thank you
thank
very
you.
much.
It's been my pleasure. And thank you so much, everybody. And thank you, Jack and Susan and Loretta, who helped us keep it all together.
Yes,
And
for sure. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
so make sure y'all join us, the Spiritual Awakenings International Conference, the Galactic, where ufology meets spirituality,
Oh yeah,
same
that's another thing too.
weekends. Yeah, we have a lot going on this month, a lot of great stuff for you to do.
Yes,
So
yes,
hope you all join us, and then we will see you all soon next time. So have a
yes,
wonderful night,
yes.
and you get
Light,
some rest, Dennis.
yes, and light and love to everyone, and positive energy.
Yeah,
Positive energy.
yeah.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night. Aloha to you all. You all mean
Aloha.
so much.
Aloha.